Hello ladies, and welcome to Module 1, our first week to really dig deep into unlocking purpose. Having a purpose is critical. Studies have shown that living with a clearly defined sense of purpose not only makes us more resilient, but increases life satisfaction and helps us live longer, regardless of what age you are when you uncover your sense of direction. And I completely get how it can have the effect on us, because having purpose gives us something to long for, an end goal to focus on when times get tough and overall reasons for being. But the idea of finding purpose is a misleading concept. Purpose isn't something we have to go out and get. It's actually something we need to unlock within ourselves. We've already got it, even if we don't know exactly what it looks or sounds like. Thinking about our purpose comes up most often when we are going through tough times of transition. Say a career change, a long distance move, or a personal loss. People call these events life shipwrecks. They can leave us a bit bruised and battered, but one thing they really do is help us crystallize what's really important to us. I personally arrived at the start of my quest for purpose the same way so many of you do. After a time of real hardship, one of those shipwrecks is a deeply personal story. But I felt like I wanted to share it with you all because it was the first time I really had to take stock of what I wanted out of my life and what my purpose may look like. So I met my ex-husband when I was 15 years old. That is so young, right? Does anyone really know who they are at that age? Because I certainly didn't. Between school, playing netball and working at the local supermarket, I hardly expected to meet the man I would marry. We moved from the safe surroundings of our country childhood home to a big smoke just 1 year later. And I'm being totally honest, it sort of steamrolled from there. We'd met at the local footy and netball club. I knew he liked me and I liked him too. He was kind, generous, and it was so exciting. When we first moved away together, it felt like an adventure. We set up home and supported him through his double degree. But in the process, I completely lost sight of who I was and my sense of purpose. What were my goals? What did I want to achieve in life? I didn't know the answer yet, but one thing I knew for sure was that I just did not want to live an average life. If I'm completely honest, I think I knew 6 months before getting married that one day I would leave him. That's hard to put down on paper because it makes me sound, well, really cruel really. But life and love isn't black and white, and I did love and adore him. We were best friends, but in many ways I also felt like his mother. And yet I just kept going because at that age, I generally thought I was doing the right thing. Maybe this was how all grown-up relationships felt. Maybe this is what all marriages felt like. Maybe the love develops and grows over time. Maybe this is just how it feels to be with somebody for the rest of my life. I questioned myself daily, even though I knew deep down that wasn't how it was supposed to feel at all. But in hindsight, it's a wonderful and knowing thing. If I'd had an ounce of the knowledge and strength of life experience I do now, I would have dealt with things very differently. At the same time, I refused to beat myself up about the way it's played out. We were young, we weren't the first two people in the world to marry too young, and we won't be the last. And every second of my past has brought me to where I am today, a wife, a mother, a businesswoman striving to help other women find their purpose. There's not a single part of that sentence that would lead me to regret the way I got here. Even when my marriage did eventually break down, I was still so young, just 24 years of age. I had no friends to turn to who had been through similar experiences, and people around me at the same time struggled to entirely support me. It was, after all, a shock, I guess. But from the outside looking in, we appeared every bit of the childhood sweethearts. I shut most of the people in my life around me and even my family. I stopped asking friends over for dinner and socialising nowhere near as much. I felt stuck, I felt lost, and each day was just about trying to survive. I felt a sadness so intense that it's still difficult to put into words. I felt I had failed the marriage and it was terrified of being judged as a result. It's true what they say. You certainly find out who your real friends are in times like that. And the one thing was, my friends were our friends, and when I really look back, I felt unsupported by 99% of those closest to us. I hid the pain and sadness that came with that, and I only really began dealing with it after we'd gone our separate ways. I started my own Eat, Pray, Love style healing process and drew inspirations and strength from my ex-husband's auntie, of all places. She was an ex-police officer who was studying kinesiology, and I found her so inspiring. She became my rock. She taught me to follow my dreams, not to settle for a career you don't love, and to always have purpose. She was taken too soon, just a few years later, breast cancer, and I never got to say goodbye. But the time I did have with her filled me. She's given me the strength I needed to propel myself forward and never ever look back. I went to town on self-development. Certain things become my non-negotiables. Working out, living near the water. I moved into an apartment at the beach and made new friends at the gym. I began travelling more in my career, and the progression I had longed for soon followed. I flooded my body with nourishing foods and watched and read inspirational books and podcasts. I also spoke to a psychologist. She helped me to acknowledge a pattern I'd always follow in my relationships. Whenever I was unhappy, I would take it out on my relationships, but more often than not, it's actually had nothing to do with them. That can be hard to realise in the moment, and I'm not alone there. Sometimes our emotions get the better of us, but what's important is that we teach ourselves to take back control. I feel invigorated knowing that I have the courage to follow my heart, be true to myself, and own my happiness. I think something so many women struggle with, and believe me, it didn't come to me easily. It takes time. It took me more than 2 years to find that courage to leave my ex-husband, and the sadness I experienced during that time of my life can still feel deep down today. We haven't even spoken a single word to each other basically since we separated. Dealing with that kind of emotion, upheaval, warrants time out to really digest what you've been through and determine your next steps. So I also can't recommend seeking professional help highly enough. Not only do they help you through those issues, but they arm you with the tools you need to go back into the world as a person you always wanted to be. Strong, passionate, purpose-driven. Be true to you. Yes, you'll be judged, but there will be people there to support you on your journey. Lean on them, and remember, you should never ever feel like you have to justify your decision to anyone. This is your path. The direction you choose to take is entirely up to you. Well, that's a week 1 done. I'm so excited to be working with you all on this project. This is a supportive, empowering community, and we're all here to lift each other up and help each other get the most out of this experience. So please make sure you jump over to the Facebook group where you can introduce yourself, ask questions, connect with the fabulous women taking this journey with you.